Dr. Pulsifer here today to talk about originating a level or adventure. And there are going to be some questions you'll ask yourself, and then you might look for a hook or a gimmick. The obvious first question is, what's the objective? How does this level or adventure fit into a series of levels or a series of adventures, the game as a whole? And another question is, will it be strategic or tactical? This is often determined by the game. It may be a very tactical game with avatars. It may be a strategic game with scenarios. It could be somewhere in between. Something else you want to consider is the experience you want the players to enjoy, the look and feel of what's going on. This is often important in a game where there's an avatar, where there's a single character that represents the player. It could be an image of an event, it could be an image of an action, and it's often related to story. Now, every adventure has a narrative, which is an account of what happens, and that's important to the person who's in the adventure. But that doesn't mean it's a story in the sense of something that's imposed by the designer. Not all levels or adventures have significant stories. There's no story in a loot grab. Oh, let's go trash this dungeon, or let's go wipe out these orcs and get their loot. That's just a narrative. But it can be the reason for the existence of a level or adventure. You'll also be looking for hooks or gimmicks. One thing that could sort of be the core of what you build your level or adventure around. For example, a building. Here's a temple. Once I took a diagram of Durham Cathedral, and that's Durham in England, not in North Carolina, and I made an adventure with that diagram of that cathedral. And it was quite a good adventure. Another possible hook is a trap. Well, I've figured out this great trap, and now I'm going to build a level around it. Another could be a location. Okay, this adventure is at a volcano. Or this adventure is on an iceberg. It could be particular weapons. Maybe the bad guys have an unusual weapon. Or all of them have some particular weapon that is different for whatever reasons. Maybe they're monsters and they're the only ones who can use that type of weapon for some reason. It could be the environment. An adventure with no gravity. An adventure that's underwater, and so forth. You have to consider the experience level of the characters and what they can do. Can they fly? That's going to make a tremendous difference to how they're going to approach something like a cathedral. How many times can they be hit before they go? Well, you're not going to put beginning characters in against dragons. But you have to consider all those things when you're considering the hooks. A hook could be a particular bit of loot, a magic item that you want the players to have, but perhaps the bad guys are using it. It could be a particular map you've found that you think is cool for some reason. It could be something that involves special resources like oil, for example. You could think about whether this adventure is connected to other adventures. In other words, maybe the main reason for the adventure is to find a clue that leads on to another adventure. Or is it standalone? There could be some major loot, some artifact, an ancient super fortress, some technology that characterizes the whole adventure. There could be particular opposition. You want to put the player or players up against a particular type of monster or a particular human with particular capabilities. And this list is from my book, Game Design. I discuss the origins of games in general in more detail in my Learning Game Design course.